Hi everyone, I'm back. I haven't been, as usual, filming every week as I intended to. My ego would like to film regularly, more often, but this processes that I've been going through is so intense. I needed time to regulate my nervous system, to have rest, and to integrate all of the processes and the healing processes that I've been going through. And I've had some visceral experiences where I've had emotional release episodes, which was costing a lot of energy. And these are all part of my process. So I have to be kind to myself. I am being kind to myself. And this is my journey after all. So I'm referencing me, my life, on this journey on becoming a conscious parenting coach and a life coach. So we have had a very, very intense weeks of, this is week 7. So I will be talking about week 6 because I needed time to process and dissect and dismantle all of the information that came, because the reflection is so intense, and the themes that we've been working on in the role play, or that's been coming up, is about, the themes are about sexual abuse, even into the ancestral lines, which brought up a lot of issues for myself. But I won't be talking about that in this video, at another stage, because that is too intense. I'm still busy processing that. And also death and loss, mourning, on how to cope with loss. There was also a lady who was a hypnotherapist, psychologist who does hypnotherapy. That course I will take separately, but today I want to share what happened with my son. Again, my son, my beautiful son, the beautiful soul. We do a family meeting every Sunday, and there was a friend of Sophia's here for dinner. Normally we start about 6. Our evening program we start about 6:30 p.m. so that they can do the shower and have the bedtime routine, so that they don't go to bed too late. So he said, yeah, he got his results for his math test, and the grades were really bad, according to him. So something told me, I said to him, can we not talk about that now at the dinner table? Can we talk about it in the family meeting when Sophia's friend has gone home? So she left, we cleaned the kitchen, we started talking about that, and he said the grade, and my daughter Sophia went like this. She was shocked that it was so not so good. He seemed okay, but then when we delve deeper, in the family meeting, what we talk about, just come back, we talk about how the week was, what was good about the week, what was not so good, what would you do different, what are you grateful for, and what are you looking forward to in the next week. Sorry, pardon. That's the first part of the video, of the family meeting. Oh, my brain. And the second part that we talk about, we delve deeper into the whatever was not so good. If anything stayed stuck in their mind or in their heart or in their body, because I always ask, is anything stuck in your body? Do you feel anything that needs to leave the body, that you need to get rid of? Any anger, any tightness, any whatever they feel. So we did that in the family meeting, and he then, from the grade, we asked him then, Robin, I said, but you need extra math lessons because I feel you need support, because this is a sign that you obviously do not understand the material. He didn't also prepare, but I don't police him. So I said, I told you I'm not going to police you because I trust you. You have full autonomy in how you manage that, and we are watching the executive functions because he's been asking for a telephone. So I said, show me that you have your executive functions on track, and then we can discuss about having a telephone. And then he became quite emotional. I could see the shift in his energy, and his dad held his hand and said, I see you having a hard time. And I said, yes, Robin, I feel you're having a hard time. Can you tell me more? Can you tell me, why don't you put up your hand in the class? Why don't you trust yourself to put up your hand and ask the teacher, Mr. So-and-so, please can you explain that to me in a way that I understand it? Because for me, we always talk about trusting yourself. That is confidence. Trusting yourself so much that you put up your hand and say, I don't understand a damn thing you're talking about. Can you tell it to me in a way that I understand? And not giving a damn what other people think. But it's a skill that we're learning, because he just turned 11 yesterday. And they're doing great. For their ages, they're really doing great. So then he said he doesn't trust himself because he's got this friend at class that always like really make funny comments, and it bothers him, and he doesn't want to stand in front of everybody, and then everybody laughs when this guy says that. So I asked him, so that was my cue. Something told me to ask him, when have you ever felt like that in your life? And this feeling that this child, I'm not going to say the name, that this boy, when have you ever felt this way in your life at your primary school? So he said, with this other boy, he said the name, I won't say the name again. So I said, okay, you felt the exact same feeling? He said, yes. I said, and when did you feel like that at another time in your life? And he said the name of another child. But I knew where this was going. I knew it was coming down to me, because I knew I effed up so badly before I became conscious, or healing on like my inner child and my entire 51 years of life. So that's why I can talk about this without having a visceral experience, because I'm very compassionate with myself. So he said another child's name, because I know about the instances. Then I said, and when was there another time that you felt like that? And then he pointed his finger. He said, with you, Mama. And I asked him, when was that? I said, can you tell me more? And he said, when he was 4 years old. I said, 4? Where was this? He said, we were in the old apartment and you hit me on my back with your fist, and I ran away. And I was like, thank you for telling me that, Robin. Then I said, Sophia was sitting there, and she was like, I said, Sophia, do you still want to be here while we're talking about this? Because it might be a longer meeting. So she said, no, she's going to go. So then I said to him, Robin, I would like to help you heal this wound. Would you let me help you, guide you? And I said, but let us first just finish this one off, this meeting, and then we can continue upstairs in your bedroom by ourselves. So we went up after getting Sophia ready for bed, and I was with him in his bedroom. And then I said a prayer. I was like nervous. I thought like, what the hell am I gonna do? Why did I say that? I don't even know. But I felt guided. Because I trust spirit. I trust God. I trust my spirit guides. And I trust myself, because I have healed so much that I know I have everything in me. Dr. Shafali also said that whatever we're learning, this is the gravy. So that's my mantra. This is the gravy. And I'm accepting that. And so where I went to get 3 doTERRA oils, this essential oils. I went to get 3 oils, and He was laying in his bed. I said, Robin, can you smell the oils? I kept the oils at his nose. I said, find the oil that suits you. The oil that is saying, this is my oil for now. So he smelled the oil. These oils are the essence of the plants. It's highly concentrated. It's very pure. It's very expensive oil. It's been proven that after 30 seconds that it has penetrated through the skin, and it's been proven that the what do you call it, the Wirkstoffe, that it's working in the body, the essential oils. So he picked this oil, I rubbed it in the palms, I activated it. I said, okay, now in his palms, I said, take 3 deep breaths in and 3 deep breaths out. So I said, are you ready? And I sat at his head. I sat at the head, and I said, now Robin, can you go to that time when you were 4 years old? Can you go back to that time? I said, you can close your eyes. He closed his eyes. He had his teddy on his chest, and I said, now can you tell me what is the 4-year-old Robin doing? So he said, I'm in the old apartment and I'm running away from you because you just hit me on my back with your fist. And I said, and where am I? I went away. And then I asked him, now how does that 4-year-old Robin, how is that 4-year-old Robin feeling? And he said, and he started crying. And then he said, the 4-year-old Robin, he's crying. He's feeling very alone. He's feeling afraid. He's feeling sad. I said, and what else? What else is he feeling? Is he feeling it in his body? Where is he feeling it? He said he's feeling it in his heart. He's feeling so alone, and like a bad, bad boy. So I said to him, now Robin, can you, as the 10-year-old Robin, do you think you could go to the 4-year-old Robin and help him? And he said, yes, I can. So the 10-year-old Robin went to the 4-year-old Robin, and I said, what is he doing? What is the 10-year-old Robin doing? He said he went to hug the 4-year-old Robin. And he said, and what is the 4-year-old Robin doing? And he said he's hugging him, and he's saying, thank you so much that you came. Thank you so much that you came. And I was like, I was so calm and so compassionate. But now telling the story, my heart is just, I'm so proud of this child. I'm so proud of this child that he could go through this process. So it took an hour. This whole process took an hour. So I said to him, Robin, can you tell me what is happening now? What are you seeing? What are you feeling? So he said, they are just hugging. The 10-year-old is hugging the 4-year-old very, very tightly, holding him, and he's saying that he's safe. So the 10-year-old is telling the 4-year-old that you are safe. And what is he? And then I ask him, what else is he doing? What is he saying? He's saying, he's telling the 4-year-old that he's loved. And he said he's just holding him so tight. And then he said, it continued, and I kept on asking him, can you tell me now what's happening? Can you tell me what you're feeling? Until he felt the 4-year-old was completely calm, and he felt completely safe and loved, and like he belonged, and like he's a good boy. These are the words that Robin used. And then I said, and what are they doing now, Robin? The 4-year-old, he said, and the 10-year-old, they were waving at each other. They said goodbye, and they each went their own way. And I said, and how does the 4-year-old feel now, Robin? And he said he feels so free. He feels light. He feels loved, and he couldn't thank the 10-year-old enough to come and hold him and keep him safe. And then I said, after the whole process was done, I brought him back and I asked him, how does he feel now, the 10-year-old Robin? And he said, he feels good. He said, but the 4-year-old is free. And I said, do you feel that the 4-year-old and the 10-year-old Robin, they've become one? Because I said to him, Robin, you know what? He said, yes. I said, you know what you just did? You just healed an inner child wound. I said, do you know how big this is? And then I said to him, I apologize. But my hand, I kept it on his third eye. I kept it on the third eye chakra the whole time, or the head chakra. And I asked him, where do you feel anything happening in your body? Do you feel tell me what you feel? And he was like, my head hurts. And then I said, okay, I was guided to hold my hand here and here. And so I was right, not the heart chakra, or not the throat also. So he said, I said to him, Robin, I am so sorry that I did that. I said, I never meant to harm you. I never meant to harm you. I said, I myself was that 4-year-old scared little boy. I was that 4-year-old scared little girl when I hit you on the back, because my parents treated me like that. And they didn't know any better because their parents treated them like that. So they themselves were scared little boys and girls. And I said, can you please forgive me? Can you forgive me? And he said, yes, Mama, I forgive you. And he understood everything, and we hugged. It was like a soul hug. It was like a soul hug. I cannot describe this hug. Such healing took place. I sat with him another 10 minutes and I stroked his head, and I said to him, I then wanted to go get my phone. I said, if he wanted me to sit with him until he fell asleep, so I said, can I go get my phone so I can listen to Dr. Shafali, my Kajabi app, to be up to date? So he said to me, please don't, because it's going to change the energy. So I said, you're right, it is so clean, the energy. And I said, it feels so sacred that I would ruin it with this digital device. So I sat with him until he fell asleep. And before he fell asleep, I said to him, this, Robin, you have the power. You have the power within you. And you said what happened now is that you see, you love yourself. You don't need nobody else to love yourself. The 10-year-old just loved the 4-year-old up, and that's how you became one whole Robin again. And I said to you, if you want to, we can heal all of the wounds that Mama put onto you because of my unconsciousness, if you want to. And then it was bedtime. I sat with him until he fell asleep. And then in the week, okay, that story is now closed off, but then in week 6 there was one video about vulnerability and courage. And what I learned from this was, from my experience in hindsight, there's a difference between emotions and feelings. For me, it was one and the same thing. I didn't know that an emotion was different than a feeling. And this was for me so clear of the patterns, the triggers that I was conditioned with. As a child, I was not allowed to feel my feeling. And it showed up as an emotion, even in my adult life and even with the kids. Me hitting my son was a trigger. He triggered me, an inner child wound. I had an emotion. An emotion is having a knee-jerk reaction to a feeling. That's when I react, either inwardly or outwardly. It's when I don't feel the feeling, sit with the feeling, because we have been conditioned like that, not to feel the feelings. We've been taught to intellectualize and not use our intuition. We've been taught not to use our wisdom and not to use our heart, to feel our feelings. So for me, this was a huge learning, and that is why I just discovered how important it is. I go back, I said this in the first video, our bodies hold score, and our bodies always win. Our bodies always win. I want to use this example about what Dr. Shafali said. This video might be a little bit longer, on how one can heal trauma. She used this example: if a child maybe gets bitten by a dog, that's a traumatic experience. And how we heal that is by not by suppressing the feeling and saying, oh, it's okay, it's not that bad. It's to actually talking about it continuously, consistently, until the child doesn't feel anything anymore. That is how trauma doesn't get stuck in the body or stored in the body. Sorry, I still have leftover coughing from Corona. That is how it doesn't get stored in the body. So then when she gave that example, I then realized that is exactly what I did with Robin. I spoke to him in a different way. I did, like, from all of my work that I've done on my healing, I think it just came naturally to me, or Spirit guided me to say the things that I said to him, to use the tools that I did, the oils. And so I continually asked him, and what do you feel now? And what is the 4-year-old doing now? Until there was no more fear, no feeling. It took an hour. Perhaps it was a little bit longer even, but it was a magical moment. It was a very, very magical, very holy moment between the two of us. So I hope you got something from this video, learning that there's a difference between emotions and feelings. Feelings are meant to be felt. Sadness, hurt, anger, those are feelings that if we don't feel it, if we don't feel the feelings, it shows up as mental illness or aggressive behavior, toxic behavior, addictions. This is what happens if we do not feel our feelings. So I know that there might be somebody out there that would be able to take something from this video, helpful. It will, again, find the right people. I wish you all a beautiful third Advent. It is the 12th of the 12th. It's a huge portal today, 12th of December. And I'm wishing you a blessed festive season. Lots of love, lots of light. Until the next time, love you all. Bye-bye.